Hey, everybody, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Zeke Garcia. Hello.
I'm Mike Delisio.
And I'm Roy Kennedy.
Welcome to Catchupalooza, where one or more of us has not played a game that the others think that they should play, so we play it to see what we've been missing. And then we decide, and we tell you now, if we've been missing anything. This week, the culprit is Mike, who had not played Cosmic Encounter.
I'm so shamed. So shamed.
Oh, no, there really is no reason. I actually don't shame people on these because there's just so many games to play. Even you were alive when Cosmic came out. And
wow. Wait, what were we talking
that.
About shaming people?
I know.
Right. You're not going to shame me for my lack of gaming skills. You're going to shame me for my age. Very nice.
Middle of the sentence.
Rude.
I'm so very sorry. All right, so Cosmic Encounter is a game that can be played, well, technically it can be played with 3 players, but it's usually played 4 to 6 players with expansions. You can even go up to 8. And your aliens trying to capture other areas. We'll put a link in the description to that you can see a review of the game for Cosmic Encounter for new players, it's called. But Mike, you had never played this before. Before you played it, what were your impressions? Because we talk about it often enough.
Sure. Yeah, this was an interesting situation where I was always almost hesitant to tell people I haven't played it because I feel like it's one of those games where if you're a gamer, you should have played it. But it was also weird in the fact that I almost felt like I had played it because I've heard people talk about their game sessions of it so much that I felt like I had a general understanding and an idea of what the vibe of the game was, kind of what the feel of it was. So it was kind of odd to be actually in it with a little bit of a background, but not actually having played it.
This game also comes with the back point of it's been my favorite game for several years. It's been one of my favorite games for years now. Z's had it in his favorite games before, and Roy. So there's a lot of pressure on there in that regard. So you played it, Mike. What were your initial impressions?
So my initial impressions were that I really enjoyed it. And I feel like part of the reason why, and I'm not saying this to blow smoke, but I feel like the group was a big part of it because I was playing with a group of experienced players, very experienced players that you did a very good job of kind of getting me into the game. Right. You were very kind about saying, well, this is something you should think about. And I feel like if you're going to learn a game like this, which is highly asymmetric, very chaotic, it's great if you have at least one other person at the table who is knowledgeable about the game and can kind of almost mediate the game. You know what I mean? Because it's one of those games that I feel like could be very fragile. That's just my gut feeling on it, where you might have great sessions and poor sessions. Obviously, I had
be there.
That's right. I felt like, okay, this was a great way to be introduced to this game. So I had a really good time. I mean, winning helped too, but even though we played like an extra 7 or 8 rounds after I'd already won, but that's another story altogether.
What?
Well, Z, what do you think about that? Do you think that it matters to have someone in there who kind of game masters the game, or that the group matters that much?
I do. I really do. When I first played Cosmic Encounter, technically it was not a great edition of the game. I used to have the Avalon Hill edition that came out in, I think, 2000. Or 2008, one of those two, I forget. But it's a pretty edition, but it wasn't the best one with the most interesting stuff in it. And I did not like the game at first because I was learning it. And I was going into this thing with no reference point. It's such a different kind of game that I hadn't really played anything like it. So I thought, what is this shapeless blob of a game? This isn't making any sense. I absolutely think somebody should gingerly guide the players and teach the players how to play. I think it could lead to a bad experience as much as a good one, unfortunately. But I do think having someone at the table who knows what's going on and can inject that energy into the game that will develop over time in the first session will keep that player playing. Because if the first time's not great, you're unlikely to want to try that again. So I'm glad to hear that that's how it went for you the first time out, Mike. Because it's a volatile game, both what happens in it and the way it feels.
Right.
Roy, do you feel like this is a game for everybody?
I don't know if it's for everybody. If you're a person that doesn't like a lot of interaction in games, or you don't like talking out with other people stuff, this game is very much a game where you have to negotiate, you have to work together. I have played this game with some people that are like, I don't want to even be allying with anybody or ever ask anybody to ally, and it can kind of mess up the game a little bit if something like that happens. But this is the kind of game that can create crazy stories, and like, even the game we play with Mike, we're never going to forget the story of what happened in that game, just because it was so crazy and outlandish. It's like the first time Mike played it, he won with the masochist and killed off all his ships. Even after we tried to stop him, we couldn't stop him enough. We could have like stopped him for a couple turns, but that wouldn't have helped. Like, there's these awesome, crazy experiences that happen in these games of Cosmic. Another thing that should be noted about the game as well is this game was like a front runner on asymmetrical powers. Like asymmetrical powers are like a mainstay. Like, everybody has player powers and player character stuff.
Right.
That was not really a thing nearly as much in games before Cosmic Encounter, and it was one of the front runners in that and all the craziness. And also, like, it was one of the things that helped inspire Magic the Gathering. Richard Garfield has said, oh my goodness, Cosmic Encounter helped with that as well. So there's a lot of history behind this game. So it's really awesome that Mike got a chance to play it. I know I was ragging you for a long time. I'm like, Mike hasn't played Cosmic Encounter. I'm like, Tom, Mike hasn't played Cosmic Encounter.
Right.
I'm glad that we finally made it happen.
Me too.
Yeah, so Cosmic Encounter is an old game. It originally came out, the year after I was born in 1977, and they do upgrades to it eventually, but it's now 13 years since Fantasy Flight has done their Cosmic Encounter version, and I think it holds up pretty well. It doesn't feel like it's aged. It feels pretty strong. And for me, well, as obviously from our top 100 list, it's still one of my favorite games of all time. Is it still one of your games that you like, Z?
I think it was still in there. Yeah, it's dropped a little bit, partly because it's hard to play it. I don't think it's a game for everybody. Definitely that's an easy answer for me. And it is also one that is not incredibly easy to get to the table. You need the right group. You need the right number of players. You need people in the right mind frame. But when those things are available, yes, it's one of my favorites. Absolutely.
All right, Mike, it's all on you now. What's your rating of the game, and would you play it again?
Oh, so I'm actually doing a number rating. Have we done this before?
No.
I don't know. I'm making it up.
I don't care. No, I'm excited to do it. Now, I will tell you.
Breaking tradition. I'm going to have to bust out the solar flare.
We're talking about Cosmic Encounter. There are no rules here. So just keep in mind that I have not put a lot of thought into a number, but my gut is telling me that this is an 8. This is a game that I would absolutely play again, but I think that what Z and Roy have said is correct. It's not a game for everybody. I think that it's going to be very group dependent. But I will tell you, the one thing that I know is that just based off of that one game I played, 2 things. Number one is it feels still to me like a modern game. It does not feel outdated at all. I feel like it is a framework game. It sets up a framework that is almost timeless. Really, it's about the interaction at the table. So that's one thing. And the second thing is that after playing one game, I felt like I wanted to play every other alien power that was in that game.
And I know there's another close to a percentage of the aliens in the game.
Right. Yeah, and there's a stack of other ones that we didn't. So I'm like, if after one game I was like, every single alien power at the table sounded fun to me to play, that's a good sign, All
righty.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, folks. That's our Catchupalooza. The rest of us have other games we need to catch up on. You'll see those in future videos. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia.
I'm Mike DeLisio.
And I'm Roy Kennedy.
Have fun negotiating.